Christmas is more than a holiday. It's a symbol of light, rebirth, and human meaning. For centuries, human civilizations have turned to midwinter as a moment of reflection, rebirth, and the return of hope. In this vast tapestry of seasonal traditions, Christmas emerged not simply as a religious celebration, but as a cultural and philosophical phenomenon. While Christians mark it as the birth of Jesus Christ, historians agree that the selection of December 25th was deeply intertwined with older solstice festivals that honored the rebirth of light. In this sense, Christmas became a bridge between ancient cosmology and the spiritual aspirations of later societies. From the Roman Saturnalia, with its feasts and social reversals, to the worship of Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun, these pre-Christian rituals shaped the emotional texture of what is now recognized as Christmas. People of antiquity were not merely celebrating the turning of the solar cycle, they were acknowledging a metaphysical truth, that in the darkest moments of the year, light returns. This profound symbolism later intertwined seamlessly with the Christian idea of the light of the world entering human history. As Christianity spread across Europe, clergy and theologians reframed these ancient motifs around the nativity story. The birth of Christ became a cosmic signifier, a moment where transcendence touched the physical world. Christmas thus inherited a dual identity, one rooted in astronomical cycles, the other in theological interpretation. This duality made the holiday far more resilient and adaptable than a single cultural or religious claim could achieve. Over the centuries, the celebration expanded from simple liturgical events to full seasonal experiences that shaped the rhythms of communities. Music, art, storytelling, and communal gatherings became essential parts of the tradition. Philosophers later described this as an example of humanity's need to ritualize meaning, to structure time with reminders of hope, morality, and renewal. Christmas, therefore, is not merely remembered, it is reenacted. Today, when billions of people mark Christmas each year, they inherit a long continuum of ideas: cosmological, spiritual, philosophical, and emotional. Whether one sees it as a sacred moment or a cultural milestone, the festival carries forward an ancient message: light returns, hope survives, and new beginnings are always possible. In the midst of winter, I found there was, within me, an invincible summer. Albert Camus. Philosophers have long argued that Christmas symbolizes far more than a historical birth. In existential terms, it represents the possibility of renewal, an invitation to begin again. The celebration's timing near the winter solstice enhances this meaning. As nature reaches its darkest point, the human spirit is reminded that transformation is possible, even inevitable. This cyclical reminder has provided psychological grounding across centuries and cultures. Within Christian philosophy, the birth of Christ is framed as the incarnation, meaning that the divine enters the human world. This idea suggests that the ordinary and the transcendent are not separate realms but intertwined aspects of existence. Such a view elevates human life itself, proposing that the physical world carries inherent dignity. Philosophers like Thomas Aquinas emphasized that this philosophical message was just as important as the theological one. Secular thinkers also embraced the symbolic weight of Christmas. To them, it became a universal metaphor for ethical awakening, the moment when humanity turns toward compassion, kindness, and moral responsibility. Even Friedrich Nietzsche, a critic of Christian institutions, acknowledged the psychological power of seasonal rituals in giving humans a sense of orientation and purpose. Modern philosophy interprets Christmas as an existential threshold moment. It is a time when individuals step back from the speed of life and reconsider who they are and who they wish to become. Through rituals of reflection, generosity, and gathering, people consciously reshape their identities. The holiday becomes a container for transformation, a pause where personal evolution is not only possible but encouraged. Ultimately, Christmas stands as a philosophical affirmation of meaning. It suggests that history is not random, that moments of darkness can be followed by clarity, and that human beings possess an enduring ability to seek goodness. The season's symbols, light, birth, renewal, embody humanity's deepest intellectual and emotional instincts. We are born not once, but many times, and Christmas is a reminder of this. Søren Kierkegaard. The figure of Santa Claus, though often portrayed as a cheerful old man in a red suit, carries a deeper cultural and psychological significance. His earliest historical roots trace back to St. Nicholas, a 4th-century bishop known for his secret acts of generosity. Over centuries, this figure evolved through European folklore, merging with Norse winter gift traditions and Dutch cultural influences. The modern Santa is therefore a composite character built from layers of myth, history, and moral storytelling. Santa's most enduring philosophical significance lies in his anonymity. He gives without expecting recognition. His gifts appear silently, arriving overnight, emphasizing the idea that good deeds are most meaningful when performed without reward. Anthropologists consider this an example of altruistic mythology, stories that teach moral behavior by embodying virtues in symbolic figures. Psychologists note that Santa represents the protective presence of kindness during childhood. By externalizing the concept of generosity into a magical figure, societies transmit ethical lessons to children in emotionally accessible ways. Santa becomes the embodiment of goodwill, a guardian of innocence, and a model of ethical behavior expressed through joy rather than obligation. The imagery of Santa traveling across the world in a single night also symbolizes abundance and the vast potential of human imagination. His myth invites individuals to believe in possibilities beyond the physical limits of life. In this sense, Santa is not merely a character, he is an allegory for hope, creativity, and the boundless nature of human thought. In the end, Santa Claus stands as a cultural reminder of humanity's desire to give, to care, and to remain connected to the wonder of childhood. Even adults who no longer believe in his literal existence continue to embrace his symbolic value. Through him, the timeless message of generosity gains a voice, a face, and a story. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Albert Einstein. Gift-giving during Christmas is not a random tradition, but a deeply symbolic act rooted in centuries of ethical and philosophical reflection. Historically, it recalls the gifts brought by the Magi to the newborn Christ, but philosophically it represents the offering of oneself to another. A gift is more than an object. It is an expression of intention, meaning, and acknowledgement. In moral philosophy, gift-giving demonstrates the principle of altruism. Even Immanuel Kant, known for his rigorous views on duty, acknowledged that benevolent actions strengthen the moral fabric of society. When someone gives a gift freely, they affirm the value of other people. They acknowledge that relationships matter and that human existence is not isolated but interconnected. Psychologically, gifts have the power to build bonds and reduce emotional distance. Researchers in social psychology have shown that giving activates neural circuits associated with reward and connection. The giver experiences joy, the receiver feels recognized, and relationships deepen in ways that transcend the material value of the gift. Anthropologists also describe gift-giving as a ritual of reciprocity. In most cultures, the act of exchanging gifts symbolizes trust, respect, and shared identity. Christmas amplifies this principle by creating a structured moment in the year when people collectively reaffirm their social ties. The ritual becomes a symbolic language, one that communicates love, gratitude, and unity. Thus, the exchange of gifts during Christmas is not superficial. It is a philosophical statement about how humans choose to relate to one another. It reinforces community, strengthens moral values, and nurtures empathy. Through gifts, people announce that they care and that others matter in their lives. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. Oscar Wilde. As the narrative of Christmas unfolds, from ancient solstice rituals to philosophical symbolism, from the mythos of Santa Claus to the ethics of gift-giving, it becomes clear that the holiday carries a universal message. It is not confined to any single tradition. Instead, it reflects humanity's shared longing for hope, renewal, and connection. Christmas stands as a reminder that even in our darkest seasons, both literal and metaphorical, the human spirit yearns for light. By examining these traditions through a scientific and philosophical lens, one can see how deeply ingrained they are in human psychology. People need rituals that help them navigate time, confront uncertainty, and reaffirm their values. Christmas fulfills these needs by blending myth, ethics, and emotion into a cohesive experience that resonates across cultures. Santa Claus, gift-giving, and the spiritual ideas behind Christmas are not mere customs. They are reflections of humanity's collective imagination. They reveal the desire to give without reward, to see others flourish, and to believe in possibilities greater than oneself. In this sense, Christmas becomes less about a date on a calendar and more about a state of mind. As long as humans seek meaning, companionship, and warmth in their lives, the symbolic power of Christmas will endure. Its metaphors of light, birth, generosity, and transformation continue to speak to the deepest parts of the human experience. Every generation reinterprets these symbols, keeping them alive while preserving their essence. And if you've enjoyed this exploration into the philosophical and scientific layers behind Christmas, consider supporting the channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future content that dives deep into culture, philosophy, and the human condition. Your support helps bring more thoughtful discussions to life. We do not remember days, we remember moments. Cesare Pavese.